which we must consider, and we must also look deeply into these things before we make any major excuse or any major mistake. We have to be very careful as youths. Before we injugate into demonstrations and protests, we also have to take cautions and to ensure ourselves for safety. Personal safety is the most trusted one. Do not just leave that place where you are, that you are going for protest, and you personally, you've not decided to make yourself safe. So that's why I organized this live so that we can discuss certain things as per the Constitution of Kenya. These things are rules, are mandated, written clearly in the Constitution of Kenya based in 2010 that outlines your right as a protester. And these things also, these laws also helps us govern protest in our city. And as you know, the main place where demonstrations are always happening is Nairobi City. And that's why I've decided to organize this live so that we can discuss some major laws that will help us govern protests in Nairobi City. But before then, we have to look on the challenges that that protesters are facing in Nairobi. You understand? The common challenges that protesters do face in Nairobi during demonstrations. Yeah. And therefore, it's majorly, these things are up to around 5. There are around 5 characteristics which demonstrators normally face in Nairobi City. So in practice, protests in Nairobi always face the following. Number one, there is always heavy police force presence during protests, during demonstrations. Yes. Number two, the roads are always blocked. That is road barricades. Number 5, the protesters are always tear gassed by the police. Some of them are always arrested as number 6. And number 7 is political infiltration. You understand? So, you as a protester and as someone who have something, also those who have businesses in our city, those who have businesses in Nairobi City, they are always facing backlashes. And it's such like situations. This is where lootings normally occur. And that one brings us to number 8, where we have opportunistic looting. These are goons, looting, business looters are always organized by goons. These are goons who are ferried by politicians, who are ferried by people in leadership, who are organized, and they are also paid by people in leadership to come and destroy, to come and steal, targeting specific people's businesses. You understand? So, and with those ones, we are also being told that human rights organizations do repeatedly criticize excessive police force during some demonstrations. And we have witnessed this one in Kenya majorly. We have witnessed this one, and even in the previous demonstration, that one which occurred just I think it was yesterday, the fuel crisis. Though I've not seen anywhere human rights coming out, but I think they will. If they have not, then they will come. So we will only be going through all of these things for now, because it's not the perfect time for discussion. I'm also tired, and we have to do these things. So the key, the second subtopic goes to the key constitutional principles. The key constitutional principle, the central constitutional idea is citizens do not need, you understand? The central constitution idea is, and the constitution protects this idea, citizens do not need any permission to protest peacefully. You understand? However, they must. You understand? As that person in Kenya who is feeling that you have to go to the street and demand for your rights, the government must listen to you, or that your employer must listen to you. You do not need any permission from anyone. Nobody should grant you, nobody, you do not request for that. You do not request for a permission to protest peacefully in Kenya. However, you must notify authorities. You understand? As a protester, before you go to that street, before anything happen in that street that is not good or is good or whatever, remember, before you get to that street as a protester, you have to notify the authorities, those who are in authority, especially the National Police Service. You must notify those people in advance. Yeah? You must remain peaceful, and you must remain peaceful. And the main thing during protest is that you must respect the law. You must respect the constitution of the Republic of Kenya. Unajua sisi Genzs, we have this tendency of thinking that we own the country. Genzs, we don't own the country. The country is owned by the law. We don't own the country. The country is owned by the law, and that law is people. And the only thing that makes the people to own the country is unity among the people. So Genzs, to see an hii feeling that sasa, because the government have failed to listen, we have to do this, we have to destroy, we have to steal. No, we don't own the country. The country is owned by law. And last but not least, we must avoid violence or destruction. Sijui kama unanisikia. I don't know if you are listening, but I want you to listen carefully. You have to listen to whatever I'm going to explain. You understand? We must avoid violence or destruction. Hakuna haja uende uibie mtu kwa supermarket ndio sasa watu wajue that you are on the street protesting. Kwani wewe ndio umetangulia kwenda protest? You are not the first person and you are not the last person. People will still protest. People will still go to that street. You understand? You are not the first person, not the last person. So, as a Kenyan, usiende kwa street kuenda kuharibu biashara ya Mkenya mwenzako. Usiende kwa street that you are protesting now, you are going to destroy people's businesses in the industrial area. That is not the way to do protest. Sawa sawa? Okay. Number 7. Respect. Respect rights of other citizens. Ukienda kwa street for that protest to be juicy, for that demonstration to be juicy, you have to respect others. Respect rights of other citizens. Remember, hiyo barabara si yako. Hiyo barabara ni ya kila mtu hapa Kenya. Si ati sasa wewe umeenda umefunga barabara, like some things that I was seeing certain people, I don't know ni malutas or what. It wasn't good. Haikuwa poa. Wale wenye walikuwa wanaiba miraa kutoka kwa in that pro box, I think. Haikuwa poa. It was not good. Some of you, ingekuwa Mike Sonko hana pesa, sijui mungechoma gari yake or what. That is not the way. Hiyo barabara si yako. Wewe go to that street, protest na utoke. This is 21st century and we should not concentrate in destroying properties. Kama ni Ruto anafaa kulisten, we have to concentrate in passing a message to him. Si ati sasa tunaenda kuibia mtu kwa duka, hiyo ni njaa imekupeleka. You understand? Now, and another thing that you have to understand is that courts always balance protest rights with freedom of movement, access to business and public safety. I don't know if you are aware. Sijui kama uko aware that courts always balance protest with freedom of movement, access to business and public safety. na hapa uruhusiwi, yani you have no authority to paralyze the hospitals, schools and all emergency services that are needed by the people of Kenya. Yes, because these are the things that always weaken public support. You understand? You as a Kenya, you have a message that you're passing to certain individual. That's why you have gone to that street. You have not gone to that street so that you can get a chance to steal from people. You have not gone to that street so that you can use that chance as an opportunity to destroy somebody's businesses. Do you know how tough is it to start a business in Kenya? Na mtu ameshaanzisha biashara imeshika waya, na wewe unakuja from nowhere, you have been ferried all the way from Murang'a, Embu, na njaa yako umewekwa kwa lori, umekuja Nairobi kuharibu vitu. Kama umeletwa Nairobi kuprotest, come and protest, come and pass your message. Politicians, they need to listen to us, yes, but we should not use that way as an opportunity to destroy. We should not use that way as an opportunity to destroy what other Kenyans have built in years. Wewe kama hujanunua gari, acha kuchoma gari ya mwenzako. Usituletee bangi yako kwa street, my friend. We always join those protests, lakini we don't behave like certain individuals. And why would someone ferry goons from Embu, from Murang'a, from Kisumu, from Mombasa wakuja waharibu vitu Nairobi if you are not insane? The leader who pays, the leader who transport, the leader who caters for these people's fairness, huyo mtu anakuanga na akili kweli? So we are saying that do not do anything that will lead to paralyzing any emergency services needed by the member of public during protests. Do not do anything that will paralyze hospitals or schools, but be peacefully in that street now, demonstrate peacefully. That's the message we are passing today, and that's why I've decided to take you through the Kenyan law, through the constitution. What is hidden inside that constitution that you don't know? Sawa. Okay, we are still going. Number 8, here we have the legal preparedness. You understand? Legal preparedness. This legal preparedness gives the organizers of these demonstrations, because huwezi toka tu kwa street kama hakuna mtu ameorganize. Even if you are the only person who is going to that street, you have to organize yourself in a certain way. You have to prepare yourself. You have to prepare yourself both physically, mentally and even emotionally. Juu kama uja prepare yourself, you cannot take it all the way through. And that's why this legal preparedness comes in. And that's why those who are organizing demonstrations and these protests every now and then, they should prepare us. They should give us the main agenda. They should give us the main reason as to why we are going to this protest. And they should also promise other members of the public that this protest yenye watu wanaenda hii, we are only going there to do one thing. We are only going there to pass the message. We are not going to destroy anybody's business. We are not going to fight the police. We are not going to fight the GSU. We are not going to show that we despise so and so who is in leadership. We are only going to pass the message, and our message must be heard. You understand? These organizers must be ready with lawyers. They must be ready with emergency contacts. They must be ready to bail those who will be arrested. They must be ready to observe human rights. They must be ready to observe human rights. You understand? Because unaweza kuwa uko kwa street, you are demonstrating. Yes, wewe ni Genzs una demonstrate, and your fellow Genzs amebeba bibi anapeleka hospitali. Then you stop the person na unampiga. Then una demonstrate juu hakuna madawa hospitali. Una demonstrate juu unataka hiyo healthcare at least ikuwe cheap. But yule mtu mwenye ako mgonjwa lazima apelekwe huko aende atibiwe, no matter what. Sijui kama mnanielewa. I don't know if you are getting what I'm saying, you people. Though sina mic, I don't have mic, I only depend on my phone to pass this message, and I have to pass it. Therefore, groups such as the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights and Amnesty International Kenya always monitor protest conduct and rights issue. Ama mjuangi hiyo? This is something that by now you are supposed to be aware of, that these national commissions on human rights and Amnesty International of Kenya, they always monitor protest conducts and rights issue. You understand? Then we have use of marshals and crowd control. Use of marshals and crowd control. You have also to consider these ones. We have also to look on this one deeply. The marshal help the direct protesters, prevent infiltration by criminals. You understand? Because during protest kuna watu wanakuanga hapo in the name of protesters, kumbe ni goons, ni wezi. Kuna watu wanakuanga hapo in the name of protesters, kumbe they have target on innocent Kenyans who are protesting peacefully. Hawa ni watu wanatuibianga during protest, and that's why this marshal and use of marshals always control crowds, always control direct protester, always prevent infiltration by criminals, and always stop vandalizing. You understand? Communicate during emergencies. Wao wana communicate during emergency, like calling the ambulances kama kuna mwenye ameumia, like telling people to leave, that this water cannon is coming, the police officers are now shooting and you have to run for your life. You understand? So guys, before tuende kwa street kwenda kuprotest, we have to know what is taking us there. Na nimesema wewe mwenyewe unafaa kujielewa, you have to understand, because self safety is something which is more important. Usiongoje it is serikali, the government will provide security. Yes, the government will provide security, and the same security will be used to kill you. You understand? The same security is going to be used by the government to destroy your future. The same security is going to be used by the government to kill you, to give you an early departure. So wewe mwenyewe unafaa kwenda pale na unajihadhari. You have to jihadhari, because that life belongs to you. That life do not belong to anyone. And there is always one life. Hakuna kuishi mara ya pili, kuna kuishi mara moja. That's why ninasema that protests lazima uende huko na wewe mwenyewe ujihadhari. Sijasema usiendi. I'm not telling anyone not to go. I'm only telling you people that the time has come that we have to understand what the constitution says about protest. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Use of media and documentation. Use of media and documentation always during protest. Pia imefanya the modern protest huwa ina succeed partly. Kwanza media ikiwa wakati watu wana protest inasaidianga sana. You understand? Media ikiwa pale wakati watu wana protest huwa inasaidia sana 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 sana. But they have to be coordinated. Live documentation must be those people wale wenye wanaendanga huko kukua live through phones, through cameras and all that, huwa wanasaidia sana, because some of these police officers huwa wanaogopa kuonekana kwa kamera wakifanya vitendo vibaya. And that's why we are saying that wewe kama Mkenya usifanye tu kitu, usiende tu kuprotest because of peer influence. Enda kuprotest because you know what is taking you there. I don't know if you are getting what I'm saying. Legal observation. Kuna vitu yenye unafaa kama protester, you have to figure out. Hizi vitu ukiona, you have to figure out. Na pia mpaka mkuwe ready na watu waku this legal observation, this is a legal team yenye huwa ina watch over protesters. Yes. Well, in case of anything that goes wrong, in case of any unwarranted attacks, wanna produce evidence. Yes. And social media pia huwa inatumiwa ku produce evidence. In fact ile evidence imekuwa recorded pale, hakuna mwenye anaweza delete, leave alone AI. We need the original evidence. That's why social media huwa inakuwa pale during protest. Sawa sawa. Na and recording events, hizi vitu zenye zimerekodiwa, these recording events during protest huwa inasaidia na nini? These recording events always protect protesters, expose abuse from police power, from any other person, even from the protesters who thinks that they own others. Unajua kuna protesters pale who are good in pickpocketing, who are good in stealing from their colleagues. Na pia recording huwa inapatiana direct information. That's why during protests we have to ensure, before we go to that streets, we have to ensure that there will be media, there will be social media documentation in that protest. So what I'm saying is that let us understand. I know I'm not elaborating these things perfectly, but you as a person, you as a Kenyan, take your time, go through your social media platforms, go through your phone, take your time and search for that constitution based on 2010 and read these things. Sio kila mara Babu Owino atatokelezanga kuja kukuprotect. Kuna vitu zingine Babu Owino hawezi protect because he is a lawyer, he understands it. He understands that hii ulifanya na imeandikwa pale kwa constitution. So there are things yenye hata kuja kuprotect. Atakuja lakini atajaribu tu kudefend, atajaribu tu convince the judge, but that judge will not bow down to whatever he's saying because judge ni mtu amesomea sheria, na akisema uongo anajua tu this person is only trying to convince me despite the fact that huyu mtu amefanya kitu. So the recent Kenyan protest have shown how digital organization influences public participation and accountability for sure. Na hiyo ndio imesaidia Wakenya wengi sana 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 sana. Hiyo imesaidia Wakenya wengi sana 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 sana. Digital organizations imesaidia sana. So another thing that you have to do before mwende kwa street, notify the police properly. Notify the police properly, verbally, through writing, through whatever, yani notify before watu waende kwa street. Tuhakikishe that the organizers of these demonstrations and protests wame notify police kabisa kabisa, and the police have the information. And this one should be done under the Public Act. Let the organizers of these demonstrations submit written notifications early, specifying the route mahali protesters watafuata, the time the demonstrations will start and will end, specifying the expected crowd size, and they must also submit kama organizers themselves, will they be in that protest. So majamaa, it's high time we understand what the constitution says. Unajua watu wanasimamanga tu pale na wanasema ati human rights, ati I understand my rights. Motherfucker, which rights do you understand? Hujai soma hiyo constitution. We unasema tu you understand your rights na unafanya mistakes kila mara watu wakienda kuprotest. And if we ensure that these things are done early, hii hata ita reduce clashes and confusion. These are going to help us reduce clashes and confusions during demonstrations. Number 4, as demonstrator, as protesters, we have to ensure that we keep protesting. We must ensure that we keep it peaceful throughout the day. Hata iende 24 hours, we must ensure that protest is peacefully kept. And this one here, the Kenyan law strongly protects peaceful and unarmed assembly. You understand? Peaceful and unarmed assembly is protected by the Kenyan law. A successful protest normally avoids weapons. Usibebe marungu unaenda kwa street. Usibebe mawe. Do not carry pangas and knives that you are going to the streets. That's not necessary. You understand? Hmm? A successful protest also, na hiyo pia huwa inasaidia, it helps, it also avoids destruction. Yeah. Successful protest also avoids destruction of properties. Kuharibiwa kwa vitu za watu. Tuachane na hiyo tabia. It will not help. I remember in 2024 when people were protesting, vitu ziliibwa mingi and even the people who stole the people who stole those things hawajai kuwa watu mpaka leo. Unaenda unaibia watu screens kama 10 hivi, una disappear nayo, unaimba mchele, unaenda wapi? Unaenda kukula na inaisha. Tukienda kuprotest, let us concentrate on the business of the day. Let us divert our attention to the business of the day. That one will help us so much. Itatusaidia sana 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 sana. You understand? We have to avoid looting of people's things. We have to avoid looting. Attacking people's businesses must be stopped. Imagine mtu amefunga duka. Mtu amefunga duka because there is a protest. Na wewe bado unaenda unafungua duka ya mtu, unaenda kumuibia. That's unwanted, that's unwarranted for. That is uncalled for. It's not necessary for you to go and steal. It's not necessary and you to go and vunja duka ya mtu just because people are protesting, or just because Babu Owino, just because James Orengo, just because senior counsel Edwin Sifuna is there, will come to protect you. Sometimes we have to give a leeway for the law. Let us give a leeway for the Kenyan law. You understand? Usiende tu huku ati you don't want the president, sasa you are destroying things. Hizo vitu zenye unaharibu si za president. Usiharibu kitu ya mtu. During protest usiharibu kitu ya mtu. Hizo vitu ati hii sasa hii gari ni ya Mjaluo, sasa tuchome. Because ODM, because certain part of ODM is in broad-based government na ingine haiko, hii yenye iko kwa broad-based government, hawa si watu, let us tuchome properties zao. No, we are not supposed to do that. Let us concentrate on some other things na tuachane na vitu kama hizo. Because once violence begins, because the reason why I'm insisting that we should stop destroying people's properties, we should stop causing chaos during protests. Instead, we should ensure that the business of the day is tackled peacefully. Is because once hiyo violence imeanza, the police force, those who are in authority, always gain stronger legal grounds to dispose crowds, and they can use anything just to disperse you people. You umeanza kuibia watu, wanaweza tumia anything just to ensure that you are dispersed, just to ensure that someone's business is safe. You will hear the gunshots. You will hear tear gases itakuja. Water cannons will be passing every now and then, and that is not the way to go. Sawa sawa. I'm saying this because it's uncalled for. It's something which is unprecedented. It's something which is not needed. You understand? Hiyo nawaambia hapo, na hakuna mwenye anajoin live yangu juu mimi sio senior. I'm not a celebrity, so there is nobody who is joining my live because I'm speaking things which are true. Naongea vitu za ukweli. And now, apart from that one, we have also to look on how protests can be implemented successfully and lawfully. Sawa sawa. We have to look on how these protests can be implemented successfully and lawfully. The first thing is that you have to define a clear objective. This is because successful protests usually have a clear message, usually passes a clear message, usually demands a specific, usually have a specific demand, specific thing. See wizi, see anything. This is because organized leadership, organized, successful protests always have organized leadership. Unapata kama ile yenye inataka kuwa success, unapata kama wenye wana lead this protest, it is going na inaenda bila kurudi nyuma. Nobody fears, nobody does what, because even the police officers fears to attack you. You understand? Even the police officers fears to attack you juu haujakosa. Examples we have: lower taxes. These are the things that we should be concentrating on. We demand for lower taxes. We demand for accountability in the offices. You understand? We demand on electoral reforms and nothing. Si ati kuenda kuibia watu ama kupigana kwa street. No. Justice for the victims who were attacked during this and this. Those are the things where protesters, those are the things which successful protests always have. You understand? Because without a clear purpose, movements easily lose public support. Yes, because without a clear purpose, movement always lose public support. Number 2, organize a leadership structure. Do not just go for protests without a good leadership. You have to organize a leadership structure that will help in tackling these things, that will help in tackling, that is going to help every individual. Sawa sawa. And therefore a protest should have coordinators. Protests should have marshals and stewards. Sawa sawa. Protests should have legal support team, like lawyers, like any legal support team. You understand? Protests should have medical volunteers. We should have medics from hospitals, from training schools that have volunteered to give first aids. Some of these people have also volunteered to offer free treatment to those who will be injured during protest. And the same protest should also have media teams. Sawa sawa. And therefore, respect human rights and freedom. You understand? The police should also respect human rights and freedom. You understand? Therefore, the police should escort and secure peaceful protest. The police should avoid excessive force. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Let us go to number 5 now. We have the penal code. This one is certain actions during protests that can become criminal offenses. Yeah, the penal codes are certain actions which are taken. These actions are always taken by protesters or even the organizers. They always leave the way, they always ignore the rules that are governing protests in the country. And these things can lead to, these actions can lead to criminal offenses. And they are such as incitement to violence, destruction of property, looting, assault, hate speech during protests, carrying weapons during protests. A peaceful protest is legal. A peaceful protest is always legal, while violent acts during it are not. You understand? Mimi nawapeleka tu na rada. So the international human rights laws, Kenya is also bound by treaties like international. You have to know this as a protester, that Kenya is also bound to treaties in international human rights law, like International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, ICCPR, African Charter on Human and People's Rights. You understand? These laws protect peaceful assembly and require government to avoid unnecessary suppression of demonstrations. Sijui kama tuko pamoja hapo. Sijui kama tuko pamoja. Now, I'm taking you somewhere very interesting. The Public Order. The Public Order Act Cap 56. The Public Order Act Cap 56. This is how he says about protests. This law regulates how demonstrations are organized. Key requirements include organizers. Key requirements in this act always include: 1. Organizers must notify police between 3 and 14 days before the protest. The notice should include the following: name of organizers, date and time, route or venue. Demonstrations are generally expected to occur between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. That one I'm referring, I know someone is saying that kwani wanasoma, I'm referring from the constitution. So therefore the importance of this law is that the law requires notification, not permission. You understand? The law requires notification, not permission. Courts and rights groups have repeatedly argued that police are supposed to facilitate peaceful protest, not approve it. You understand? I don't know if you've gotten any point. The police are not allowed to approve protests. They are only allowed to facilitate peaceful protest. You understand? Therefore, National Police Service Act and Article 244. Karibu. Acha niendelee na hii kitu, niko karibu kumaliza. Therefore, National Police Service Act and Article 244 says that police are legally required to protect life and property, maintain order, respect human rights and freedom, and police should also escort and secure peaceful protest, avoid excessive force, use force only when absolutely necessary. Again, this is the topic of the day. I'm very tired. So that was today's what? Today's topic. I hope wewe kama Mkenya you've got something. You have understood something and you are going to consider what I've said. Kama hujasikia vizuri, you can download the constitution based on 2010 na ujisome, or you can still go to the nearest bookshop na ununue that constitution. And in fact, it's not even for sale. You will be given for free if you ask from any of your friends mwenye ako nayo. Sawa sawa. As we complete this, I'm saying that protest in Kenya, protesters, sisi majenzi tusitumiwe vibaya. The time has come that sisi majenzi tusitumiwe vibaya. Let us understand that we carry the weight of the future in this country. Let us understand that Kenya belongs to us. Let us understand that we are not the law. There is law, and that law tukiifuata vizuri, even those in authority will fear us. Let us understand that we have also to register as voters, ili hii serikali yenye hatutaki saa hii tuitoe during voting, that is 2027. Instead ya kwenda kwa street kuuliwa every now and then, we have to come up with something. We have to come up with an idea that will help us. We have to survive this 2026. Ikifika 2027, let us go and vote the government out na tuweke wale wenye tunataka. Hao wenye tunataka pia wakiingia kwa ofisi na wafanye kitu kibaya, we wait on 2032 tuwatoe. Sio kwenda kwa street. Sasa saa hii we are going to the street. Some of us are being killed by the police. Who will vote? We are going to the street today na watu wanauliwa. Nani atapiga kura? And with that, do not forget to subscribe, comment, and like. Amen.